everybody, Jim Masters here. Welcome to our live episodes. Another one for you here of our entertainment lifestyle talk show series. This is the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series, where we are bringing back that lost art of conversation, old school style. Dick Cavett, Johnny Carson, Mike Douglas, some of those veteran television hosts and presenters with a modern twist and a modern vibe of today. We have done roughly 635 episodes live 7 days a week since we started this series back in May of 2020. Many of you know I work in television, radio, and stage and film and have for years. And this is an extension of that work. Matter of fact, we were on 2 TV shoots earlier today for a show we do on CBS, a lifestyle travel series. We were at the Basketball Hall of Fame earlier today. And then we were at a Japanese restaurant eating hibachi and sushi. Not too bad. Those are some of the host duties. You have to do what they tell you to do, what the director tells you to do. Hope everybody's doing well today. Welcome to our show. Speaking of television hosting, we have somebody who has really set the gold standard and continues to for so many, many years. The incomparable Wink Martindale and his lovely wife, Sandy, are here live from their beautiful home in Palm Desert, California. Now, of course, you know Wink for so many incredible shows that he's been involved in over the years. He started out in Tennessee, where he's from, in Jackson, moved on to Memphis. Radio, of course, called his name, and then the rest was history from there. You know him from the 19 plus game shows that he has hosted over the years, but so much more. Of course, known for the game shows, but he's worked in so many different aspects of our industry of television and radio. Really one of those people who set the bar, set the standard, one of the good guys too. We were just having a great conversation before going live. As somebody who is a host myself, a presenter in radio and television, and always enjoying this work, I've got to tip my hat to somebody like Wink Martindale, and I do it gloriously and glowingly because he really did set a standard for everybody else to meet. He and his contemporaries, truly class, polish, wit, humor, compassion, empathy, all rolled into one. And as you guys know, I host a lot of different shows. I do a lot of different things in the industry. And that's something that a Wink Martindale has always done. He's been somebody that has always been involved in so many different aspects of the industry. The other thing too, he's always been so wonderful to viewers and listeners and to fans. Always appreciates, the words of kindness. And we were just, I was laying that on him just moments ago. And just truly an icon in our industry. Born Winston Conrad Wink Martindale, and an American disc jockey, radio personality, game show host extraordinaire, television producer. And in his 6-decade career, best known for hosting a wealth of shows, Gambit and Tic-Tac-Dough, of course, High Rollers, Debt, which actually was one of his favorite. And that was a cool show where your debt got a chance to be paid off. I bet you guys wish he would bring that back. He's done it all. He was born in Jackson, Tennessee, started his career as a disc jockey at the age of 17 at WPLI in Jackson, earning $25 a week. Yes, that's how it starts out. And after moving to WTJS, he was hired away for double the salary by Jackson's only other station, WDXI. And he hosted mornings at WHBQ, which everybody listened to in Memphis, while a college student at Memphis State University, graduating with a Bachelor of Science degree in 57. While there, Wink became a member of the Kappa Sigma fraternity. We'll tell you about the rest. We'll let Wink tell you about the rest. In addition, of course, to having Wink with us, as I mentioned, we have his lovely wife, Sandy, and she had a fantastic story as well. She is amazing. And again, she a dancer too. I don't know if you knew that about Sandy. Yes, she's done that for a long time. And she was just dancing around the living room, getting everything set up for our conversation today. And they are amazing. I absolutely love this shot. There are our special guests, Wink and Sandy Martindale. We're going to talk about, again, incredible things that they're working on. They're always staying in touch with everybody as well. and of course, their illustrious careers. As I mentioned, all these great memories, top 10 dance party where it really began for Wink. Look at this shot. We'll tell you about this one in just a second. So many incredible shots we have here and photos and memories and so much more. Of course, you guys love him from Tic-Tac-Dough. Yes, that was on in our house. I believe it was around 6:30 in the evening. 7 o'clock or 6:30, and it was on WOR Channel 9 in New York City. All these shows that he's hosted. Of course, remember Gambit, yes, and we mentioned Debt, and so many others. I could talk all night about Wink and Sandy. We're so honored to have them here. We have a lot of comments built up already. Our show is live worldwide. So definitely, if you'd like to comment, make sure you do subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is the channel you're watching now, Jim Masters TV. Yes, we made it easy for you. It is my name. And yes, that's my real name. I did not make up the name Jim Masters. I'm the fifth. People think I made up the name Jim Masters for TV and radio. No, it's the real deal. So subscribe, click the notification bell. And if you enjoy this episode, make sure you leave a comment for us and you click that thumbs up there on that YouTube channel. If you would like to comment during the show live, feel free. When you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, you have the gift of being able to do that. So without further ado, that's quite an entrance, huh? Let me welcome our very special friends coming to us from beautiful Palm Desert, California. It's about 41 degrees here on the East Coast. I asked them if they'd like to trade, and they said, no, we're good where we are right here, Jim. Let's welcome Wink and Sandy Martindale to the show. Oh, boy. So honored to have you both here. Welcome, Wink and Sandy, to the Jim Masters Show Live.
Thank you, Jim. It's our pleasure to be with you.
Oh, it's so terrific to have you here. How you guys doing today? Beautiful weather there in Palm Desert,
huh? It's chilly here. It's 85 today, and the skies are blue, and it's just a terrible place to live.
Oh my God, that's rough. I don't know why we didn't talk to management and make sure we did the show right there in that living room in front of that beautiful white piano. We should have done that. So, how are you guys doing? We've been through some interesting times the last 2 years that have sort of altered the world for us a little bit. How have the two of you been staying connected, creative, collaborative, and sort of sane or semi-sane through it all?
How have we done that? Well, our foundation is God, so therefore we know everything's going to be fine, and He gives us good sense. And we do the things we're supposed to do, and we take good care of ourselves. So it's been easy for us.
See, that's fantastic. Yes, that's great. And when you have that, that is a great foundation, right?
Yeah, we're just like snug, like two bugs in a rug with a dog.
Yeah, we were careful a month or so ago when the COVID was just getting underway. And we spent a lot of time in our home here. We spent a lot of time watching television. And so we wanted to play it safe. But now we're going back out again. And we've been extremely lucky that we haven't had any problems with this current situation.
Yeah, it's kind of the good part of it is I haven't had a cold in 2.5 years. I mean, wow. I was a germaphobe before germaphobes were fashionable.
Yeah.
So now everybody's joined me, and anywhere you go, there's sanitizer, there's things to wipe off the carts. I'm loving
it. How did the two of you meet? How did that happen? How did this love story take fold and take shape, the two of you?
Sandy tells this story so well that I'm going to revert to her for this.
Well, my dad had nightclubs in LA. So they wanted me to drive the booze cart at the music industry's golf tournament in Palm Springs. And this is 50 years ago. So I said, oh, okay, I'll do that. But I thought I'm not going to go down there because it was people like, Glenn Campbell, Jimmy Bowen, the record industry. And they all had to be equally drunk by the end of the tournament because they'd bet a lot of money. So they'd have to consume a shot of whatever their drink of choice at every hole. So I drove the little booze cart around on the golf course. So I took my girlfriend with me because I thought, no way am I going to go there, by myself with all these guys that are intoxicated.
Yeah.
And So they put me up at the Gene Autry Hotel, and my girlfriend and I were having breakfast in Gene Autry's Sombrero Room coffee shop. And two guys walked by going out to the pool area, checking out the pool and the girls. And
we weren't checking out the girls.
My girlfriend said, "That's Wink Martindale." And I said, "No, that guy's too young and too cute." I grew up coming home from school watching his dance party show.
Yes.
And I said, "No, he's an old married man with a lot of kids. That can't be Wink Martindale." And they had no luck at the pool, came back by the coffee shop. My girlfriend Terry knew Wink. She goes, "Wink." He goes, "Oh, hi, Terry." He talks to Terry. I talked to the guy that lived next door to him, this Michael Schmidt. They were there for like 20 minutes, bought our coffee, left. That was it. 2 weeks later, she called me and said, "You'll never guess who called me for your phone number." And I said, "Who?" Now, I would have guessed the other guy.
Yes.
He talked to me, but this one was very shy. He didn't, pardon the pun, he didn't wink, nothing. I wouldn't have guessed that he had any interest in me, but she said, "He's really a nice guy. So if he calls you, you should have dinner with him." That's 50 years ago, and he was going to be my affair, and we're still having it.
And now it's 46 years of marriage, and I definitely married up, and we have we seldom, if ever, argue. We get along great, and our marriage is anything but on the rocks. We're very happily married and have been for all these years.
That is fantastic. Congratulations on that. Congratulations. Again, it is really spectacular, and it's a testament to the two wonderful people that you are. Wink, I would love to start with you. Growing up in Tennessee, what were some of those early inspirations for you that pointed you in the direction of wanting to go into radio and television and entertainment and the arts?
Well, Jim, I guess from the time I was 8 or 9 years old, I always knew I wanted to be on the radio. It was a fascination to me that you could talk into one of these things called a microphone, and people on the other end of a radio speaker could hear you. So I was always fascinated. And to cut to the chase, my Sunday school teacher at Lambeth Memorial Methodist Church there in Jackson happened to be the manager of the 250 watt, the smallest radio station in Jackson. Like you said earlier, we had 3. And I used to bug him all the time. His name was Chick Wingate. "Chick, when you going to give me a job, man? I want to be on your radio station. I want to be a radio announcer." But he would fluff me off. One night, me and some buddies are sitting on the railing of the First National Bank building in downtown Jackson, Tennessee. Every little town has its court square, and we were right there. And it was a hot summer evening, and up pulls Chick Wingate in his little Henry J. automobile, which is long since gone by the board.
Isn't that a cool name, Chick Wingate? Love that name.
Charles J. Wingate. And so he gets out of the car, and he's going to go upstairs up to the 4th floor of the bank building, which is where WPLI was located. And once again, Wink says, "Chick, when you going to give me a job? I want to work for you. I want to be on the radio. I want to be in your business." And this time, Chick Wingate says, come on up." He took me upstairs, and he put some copy in front of me and some newswire. And I went through those like Grant going through Richmond. He couldn't believe it, you know. And the reason, he didn't know this, but I had been working on my pronunciation and reading and selling for a long time, because growing up, my dad, we didn't have a lot, but my dad every Christmas got $100 bill as a bonus and a year's subscription to Life magazine. So I grew up reading the pictorial Life magazine. And I would tear out the advertisement pages and go into the back bedroom there in our little 3-bedroom house in Jackson. And I'd pretend I was on the radio, and I would ad lib around those advertisement pages. So fade to black and come up again on that evening with Chick Wingate at WPLI. And he didn't know that I had been working on, this moment for a long, long time. He said, "That's very good. You come down here tomorrow after school." I was a senior in high school. "And you come here after school, and I'll have the mayor here." The mayor owned the radio station. "And you do what you did here, and I think you're going to get a job." So fade to black, come up on the next day, and I get on my bicycle. I rush down. I could hardly wait for school to be over that day. And I go up to the 4th floor of the bank building, and I sit down in front of that same microphone with that same copy, and I go through it again perfectly. And Mayor Smith could hardly believe it. And he said, we talked, we had some small talk. And then he said, you got a job, $25 a week. And it was my first radio job. And from there, I can't tell you how happy I've been. I feel so blessed because I'm doing what I always wanted to do. So many people go to work every day and they hate going to work. They hate what they do, but they're doing it, to make a buck, to make a living. Well, I never had that problem. Yeah. I was always thrilled to go to work because it's what I wanted to do with my life.
Absolutely. Look at this fantastic shot. We have Wink.
Wink Martindale of the Mars Patrol. That was my first television show at Channel 13 WHBQ TV in Memphis. They had just gone on the air. I'd been working there only a couple of years doing the morning show on radio Clock Watchers. And while I was there, a year into it, they went on the air with their television station. And one day, the program director, Mark Forrester, called me into his office after I got off the air. And he said, Wink, we have an idea for a television show for you. I said, what? I had no eyes for television. I mean, it was nice. I'd been watching television ever since 1948, 1949. But he told me it was called Wink Martindale of the Mars Patrol. And each day we would blast off into space after I talked to these 6 little Mars guards, these kids 7 and 8 years old. We'd drink our Bosco and milk. And then we hear all these sound effects and, and we'd have them lean back in their chair like this to simulate, blasting off. We taught them how to do that before we went on the air every day. And we'd segue into these Rocky Jones Space Ranger movies, these B movies that used to play between the main features on Saturday afternoon at the theater. And we'd do that for about 10 minutes. We'd come back. And I'd talk to the kids some more. They'd embarrass me. One got up one day and said, I got to go pee-pee. I was young at the time, and I thought, you can't say
Wasn't it Linkletter that said kids say the darndest things?
Amen. But anyway, that was my first show, and it got me started. It taught me how to ad-lib. It was really, it was a good experience for me. I enjoyed working with the kids, and now I live with a kid.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And then this opportunity, of course, the dance party show was significant for you, wasn't it, Wink?
Yeah, the Top 10 Dance Party followed Wink Martindale of the Mars Patrol, which from the time it went on the air at 5:30 in the afternoon was enormously successful. It took off like a rocket. And so did the dance party show. When the Mars Patrol faded away after about 3 years, they wanted me to be sort of the Dick Clark of Memphis.
Yeah.
And I hosted the Top 10 Dance Party with a lady there in the center. Her name was Susie Bancroft. And, kids would come on and dance from the various high schools in Memphis. And just like American Bandstand, artists would come in and lip sync their records. And I was so lucky, Jim, because I was in Memphis where rock and roll really started.
Yes.
I was at WHBQ radio the night that Sam Phillips walked in with an acetate of a record that he had just made that afternoon, 2 hours earlier, by a truck driver named Elvis Aaron Presley.
Mm-hmm.
And I just happened to be there that night. And Dewey Phillips, the DJ, put it on the air, did a show called Red Hot and Blue, played it 7 times in a row, switchboard lit up. And I was the one designated to call Mr. and Mrs. Presley to find out where Elvis was. Because naturally, we all wanted to see what this guy looked like.
Yes.
And so Mrs. Presley was excited. She had been listening and heard the reaction to her son's new record. And she said, well, he was so nervous about his record being played, he went to see a double feature Western at the Suzors No. 2 theater. So they got in their truck. They went down, walked up and down the dark aisle, found him sitting there all by himself watching this Western movie, brought him down to WHBQ radio. I met him that night, and he remained my friend until the day he died.
That is absolutely amazing.
And I'm the only living person of 6 in the control room that night to witness really the beginning the beginning of rock and roll. And I was in Memphis, you know, in the mid 50s when it all started at Sun
Yeah.
Records. I mean, walking through those doors for Sam Phillips at Sun on Union Avenue was Roy Orbison and Johnny Cash and Carl Perkins. I mean, so many stars that turned out to be stars.
Yes.
So it was the beginning of rock, and by the end of the decade, music had changed and would never go back to being the way it was when we were playing Eddie Fisher and Joe Stafford and Perry.
Yeah. Now, Sandy, weren't you in Viva Las Vegas with Elvis?
Yeah.
Tell us about that, and the opportunity to know Elvis and the way that you did, which was special too.
Yeah, that's for sure. My dad had nightclubs, as I said earlier, and when Elvis got out of the Army, the first place he went was to my dad's nightclub. Red West, who was in the Army with Elvis, and his buddy was our doorman, our bouncer. And then Lance LeGault, who was in a lot of Elvis's movies as well, was our house band. And we had an upstairs area where you could look over the balcony and see the band and the kids dancing. So it was a safe place for him to go, and he loved it. So my dad called me one night. Elvis was there, and Elvis had gone into my dad's office, saw my picture, and he said, "Who's that?" He said, "That's my daughter." "Oh, I'd like to meet her." So they call me, and my mom says, "No, it's a school night. You can't go to the club. You got school tomorrow." No
and
way.
you also said, "What a funny name, Elvis."
Yeah, what if I didn't know who he was. Anyway, it was a very unique name. Anyway, so he called a couple times, and in the meantime, my dad came home. "Oh, this is such a gentleman. He's such a nice-looking young man," and blah, blah, blah. So then the next time he called, my mom said, "Okay, she'd drive me up to the club." So she drove me to the club, and there I was in a ponytail and a frilly dress, and he had a date with a beautiful, sexy actress, and I sat down next to him, and he was quite handsome, and I just kind of stared at him.
He was gorgeous.
Yes, he was gorgeous. He held my hand, kissed me on the cheek, and then he said he wanted to date me, and my mother said, "No, my daughter's too young, she can't date." And he said, "Well, you can come on the dates." Well, then
You were only 14, right?
I was 14. Yeah, it was then okay with my mom.
Wink is doing the color.
He's my color commentator.
Yes. He's ever the broadcaster, ever the broadcaster.
Absolutely. So my mother came on the first 3 dates because he was staying at the Beverly Wilshire Hotel because he came to California to make a movie called GI Blues at the time. So we did. When we started dating, he promised my mom he'd be a gentleman and take good care of me. So after 3 dates, she trusted him, and he basically raised me, and he did a really good job. So I always danced because I love dancing. So as a kid, I took ballet and modern jazz, and I was studying with David Winters, and so was Ann Margaret studying with David Winters. And she got David Winters the choreography job on Viva Las Vegas. So I had been going with Elvis for a while for a long time by that point. And, but I didn't tell him, and I wanted to get it on my own. So of course I went on the audition, and I was selected to be one of the dancers in the movie. And we had more fun. It was just, and recently I saw Ann Margaret. We've been seeing each other, unfortunately, at more funerals than anything else.
Yeah.
And she said, "Sandy, who knew that when we made that movie that we would bring so many people so much joy for so many years?" And it's really true. It's a great movie. It really is. It's a classic.
Absolutely right. Yeah, to be a part of that's in the annals of history. And I mean, you've had a wonderful dance career through the years as well, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've always loved dancing. I would rather, when I was young, I didn't like to talk that much. I never considered being an actress because it just wasn't my thing.
Right.
I let my feet do the talking for me. So I danced for a good number of years.
She has so much rhythm. She is such a great dancer.
He stops me. We'll be dancing somewhere, and he'll say, "Cool it, Mom, cool it." Cool it.
To be honest with you, I seldom will get out on the dance floor with her.
Won't.
Because she makes me look terrible.
Oh, I don't. I think you look good.
However, in the studio, you made your mark in music as well, my friend Wink, huh? Signed to Dot Records, and tell us about
Yeah.
all this and how this
Yeah.
came about.
I in 1959, I went to my mentor, Bill Grumbles, who had hired me and ushered me through my career for 7 or 8 years in Memphis. And I told Mr. Grumbles I'd like to spread my wings and try a larger market. And I was afraid he might get mad at me, but he said, I totally understand, because I'd gone just about as far as I could go
Yeah.
in Memphis. He said, you want to go to New York, WOR, you want to go to KHJ in Los Angeles? And I'd been to New York, and the skyscrapers, that kind of scared me a little bit. New York, this. So I said, yeah, I like the palm trees and the sunshine of LA. So let's make it LA. So he picked up the telephone, he dialed Norm Boggs, general manager of KHJ, and he said, I got this young man here who's been with us. He's done a great job for us, and he wants to come to the land of milk and honey. And so in March of 59, I got on a plane and went to Los Angeles and became the morning man at KHJ Radio. And by that summer, I was doing a teenage dance party, just like I'd been doing in Memphis. And it was during that summer that Randy Wood, president and founder of Dot Records, whom I had met in Memphis on my TV show, called me, and he wanted me to come to his office at Dot. He wanted me to hear something. So when I got off the air one morning, we were only like 2 blocks away at Sunset and Vine. And I walked up there and I went into this plush office. I'd never seen carpet that thick. And so Randy Wood, who founded Dot Records in Gallatin, Tennessee, a little town outside of Nashville, put a scratchy old 78 RPM record on the turntable and played it. It was called Deck of Cards, and it was by a country singer named T. Texas Tyler, who had the credit for writing it. And it had been a hit for him right after the war in 1946, about a soldier who used a deck of cards in church in place of a Bible. The ace, one God, the deuce, Old and New Testament, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the 4. And it went through the cards like that. And when the record was over, I thought, while it was playing, I thought, who's going to buy a semi-religious talking record? The number one record in the country was Mac the Knife by Bobby Darin,
Sure.
Venus by Frankie Avalon, Stagger Lee by Lloyd Price. And he plays this scratchy talking record. But I was convinced before he ever played it, that whatever it was, I mean, here was my chance to make a Dot record and have a record out. It was exciting. And so I was going to tell him I loved it no matter what. Well, he picked the needle. He said, what do you think? I said, Randy, I love it. I love it. I think it could be a big hit. Then we went into the studio about 2 or 3 weeks later. And with a vocal chorus behind me, we made sort of a pop version of that country hit. And Deck of Cards came out in September. And by November, I tell you what, a DJ in Boston, Bob Clayton, just happened to play it one morning on his number one rated show in Boston. And the switchboard lit up and it just swept the country. Within a week, we got an order for 10,000 of Deck of Cards out of Boston.
Wow.
I remember saying to Chris Hamilton, the sales manager, I said, Chris, is that good? She said, is that good? If we got an order for 10,000 of every record we put out, we'd be the number one record label in the country.
Unbelievable.
So it came out, and by November, I'd gotten a call from New York to come back and perform it on the Ed Sullivan Show. Well, that was like an out-of-body experience.
Yes.
I had grown up watching Toast of the Town, Ed Sullivan.
Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden, I'm going to stand on that same stage and perform this narration, Deck of Cards. And it went over great. And the next day, the record promotion guy with Dot took me over to WINS in New York to do a little promotion while we were there. Figured might as well go say hello to some DJs. And I walked into the record library, and who do I see over there in the corner but Tony Bennett? And Tony Bennett came up to me and shook my hand. He said, saw you on Sullivan last night, son. You were great. And I
Wow.
thought, my God in heaven. Tony
Yes.
Bennett had a record called Because of You, his first hit
Hmm.
in 1951. And I had played that as a kid DJ at WDXI in Jackson, Tennessee, over and over and over again. And all of a sudden, here I'm shaking hands with Tony Bennett. It was just one of those experiences that is ingrained in my mind, and I'll never forget it. Do I
Absolutely.
talk too much?
Not at all. I love it. And I
This is called an interview, right? He's supposed to talk.
or as we say, a conversation. I also love the way you say the full call letters. You're truly a broadcaster, and the way you say the W, and then if it's a TV station, you do the TV, WLIE TV. And I just love that the training is still within you, Wink.
Well, that's the way I was brought up. That's the way I learned it. So it's up there.
We have some wonderful photos too that you guys sent along. Look at this. This is Nat King Cole.
Yeah, I that was my first year. You can imagine. I grew up listening to Too Young and all those great hits by Nat King Cole
Oh,
and playing them on
yeah.
the radio. And my very first month in Los Angeles, I received the assignment to go to one of those red carpet situations to usher in a new movie.
Yeah.
And up walks Nat King Cole. And I look calm and sophisticated there, but my heart was beating 90 to nothing, because here I was standing next to this man who I think, in my opinion, which I do respect, is probably one of the top 3 or 4 or 5 pop singers of all time.
Yes.
God knows we
Yes.
lost him much too young.
And still to this day, rather underrated too, right?
Yeah.
Still, yeah, for the talent that he had. We have another wonderful shot. Alex Trebek.
Yeah, Alex,
We
God
just
rest his soul. One of my dearest friends, one of Sandy's and my dearest friends, and that's an early picture of him. It was a picture of, I think Pat Sajak was probably in that picture as well. I'm glad you cut him out.
No.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Is that because Wheel of Fortune came in and moved over Tic-Tac-Dough? Is that why?
That's right. Let me quickly tell you that story.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding about Wheel of
No, of
Fortune. I love
course.
Pat Sajak and Vanna White.
Yeah.
And we watched the show. But I'm doing my first successful network show at CBS called Gambit, and we are doing gangbusters. We get a 36, 38 share of audience. What do you think of that sport coat? Can you believe that I actually wore that on television? That's unbelievable.
I love that
That's
sport.
unbelievable. I think I burned that.
No.
Anyway,
Donated it.
That's a
Anyway,
goal. You
we're-
were a trendsetter. Did they have to adjust the lighting at all, or?
Yeah,
you'd
I
think.
think they did.
But we're doing great, great shares of audience. And all of a sudden, our shares started going down a little bit. And I went to my producer, Bob Noah, and I said, Bob, I watched that show opposite us that just went on NBC. I said, we've got nothing to worry about. He said, don't ever say that.
Right.
When you do that, that'll come bite you in the butt every time.
Yes.
Well, sure enough, it did. The show was Wheel of Fortune, and it was responsible for us getting canceled on CBS.
Isn't that amazing? Wow. I know with Tic-Tac-Dough, didn't that run for a certain amount of weeks, but then the station managers were nervous because they wanted it for syndication.
Yeah,
and
we
it
were.
went into
we were-
syndication and became a huge hit as a result.
Yeah,
Right.
Tic-Tac-Dough, we went on CBS in the mornings, and we run at 10 o'clock. And for some reason, as they say in show business, it failed to find its audience. After less than 13 weeks, it was canceled off CBS.
Unbelievable.
It scared the heck out of program directors and station managers because so many of them had bought the whole package.
Yes.
The CBS morning show would lead into the syndicated version of Tic-Tac-Dough in the prime access hour. That's the 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock hour leading into network television every evening. and they had already bought it. And all of a sudden it's canceled.
Mm.
They're stuck with this show. But as fate would have it, we went on the air in September with Tic-Tac-Dough in prime access, 7 o'clock at night. And the show just took off like a rocket.
Yeah.
I have no idea why it didn't make it in mornings at CBS. But in the evening, when the first ratings book came out, ARB came out, the ratings were phenomenal, and we never looked back.
Absolutely.
And I did that for a number of years. My most successful show.
Yes, we got a little promo piece we're going to show from the show as well. Little Wink and Tic-Tac-Dough.
The fun can't be beat on Tic-Tac-Dough when you join exciting host Wink Martindale for a half hour of prizes and surprises. Right, you win. Wink asks the questions as two lucky players battle and block their way across the board to big money excitement. Host Wink Martindale brings the fun home to you every day. Join the winners on Tic-Tac-Dough.
Tic-Tac-Dough, 11 o'clock weekdays on Channel 12.
Never said that.
I tell you, we dug that up, and we dug this up too when you were doing some fabulous work with the Family Channel. Take a look at this.
Hello, everybody. I'm Wink Martindale, welcoming you to the Games on Fam, where you don't just watch them, you play them. First, we've got some of your favorite game shows, Crosswits, the $100,000 Name That Tune, and Monty Hall's Let's Make a Deal. But that's not all, because I'm hosting two new and exciting shows, the television versions of the world's most popular trivia game, Trivial Pursuit, and Trivial Pursuit, the interactive game. A new kind of game show where you can play and win with your touch-tone phone. The Games on Fam have begun, and every day there will be 10 opportunities to play Trivial Pursuit play breaks. We'll be giving away terrific prizes to our winning call-in players, and that's not all. At the end of every day, our play break winners compete in a playoff for a grand prize vacation getaway. And here's where today's grand prize winner will be going.
The Maui Banyan in Hawaii, offering some of the best of relaxation and recreation in the privacy of your own condominium suite. Gives you the feel of home with the surroundings of paradise. The Maui Banyan.
You could be a winner, so stay tuned and get ready to play the Games on Fam, and don't just watch them, play them.
That is incredible.
Isn't that fantastic?
Yeah.
I tell you.
You guys did your homework.
I put my journalist hat on, absolutely. And we've got another clip here. This is from Tic-Tac-Dough. I think this goes back to 83. This is a very funny clip.
Hello, Penny.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. How's the real estate business these days, Penny?
It's doing a lot better. It's a lot better.
Just remember, Penny, around here, if you win a lot, you can't build a house on it.
Okay.
Just one of those stupid little things that I say from time to time. What do you do in your spare time, Penny? What do you like to do?
I write. I write a lot.
What type of things do you write?
Magazine articles. I'm working on a screenplay right now. And I've gotten into word processing, which has made the writing a lot easier.
You write on a word processor?
Yeah, it takes out everything I hate about typing, so that's why I really
My wife, Sandy, is writing a cookbook right now, and she's using a food processor. I don't know. I really don't know. I think I need a break. We'll be back in a moment.
Sandy, do you still have the food processor?
I have an Instapot. I have all these.
Let me take Jim just 1 second. Oh, dude, hush.
Oh, Dude is there. Yeah.
Dude, our dog Dude is breaking us up here.
He wants to be in the.
Oh, yeah. The audience loves when a pet pops on.
I think the funniest thing that ever happened to me on Tic-Tac-Dough was we were doing an over 80s tournament.
Say hello, Dude.
An over 80s tournament where all.
You love it, Daddy.
I got my love for the night.
Just don't mess that perfect and beautiful hair.
all the contestants were over the age of 80. And I'm talking this doctor, what was her name?
Reba Kelly.
Reba Kelly, Dr. Reba Kelly. And I said, Dr. Kelly, at your advanced age, do you still think about dating? And Dr. Kelly said, yes, Wink. As a matter of fact, I have 4 boyfriends. I said, really? You have 4 boyfriends? She said, yes, I get up in the morning with willpower. I take a walk with arthritis. I come home with Charlie Horse, and I go to bed at night with Ben Gay. We had to stop tape for about 10 minutes. I don't know whether they gave that to her, to throw at me or not. I never knew. I never asked because we had such a good laugh out of it. Anyway, that's that.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, that's what, you have this wonderful uncanny ability, which comes from a strength that I've always loved. That's why we're doing the show live. I love live and I love ad lib. I love when they do throw things at you, you're able to take it and make it your own. And you've always been so incredibly skilled at that. And I know ad libbing is something that is a skill you developed early on in the broadcast career, right, Wink?
Well, I knew that, there was a lot of ad-libbing because radio is not scripted for the most part. And I think that's why I enjoyed doing my DJ work for all those years so very much, because, you have to ad-lib in and out of records and situations. And it helped me later in the myriad interviews I did over the years, both on radio and television. And so, yeah.
That initial was, I think, on NBC. What's that song? I think that was pivotal, rewinding a little bit, even earlier for your career, right? Having a taste of working with the celebrities and being on a network show like that, which was an extraordinary opportunity for you.
Yeah, that was really a great experience for me. That was a local show, by the way, called What's the Name of That Song? But the deal was that if it made it on KTLA in Los Angeles locally, it would move to NBC Daytime. Well, it became successful, moved to NBC Daytime, and they shortened the title for TV Guide to What's This Song instead of What's the Name of That Song. And they shortened my name too. I became Win Martindale. The guys in New York who make the big decisions decided Wink was too juvenile sounding. So they knocked off the K. And for that one show, my first network show, I was Win Martindale for a year. And then after that, I went from one show to the other and didn't seem to matter anymore. I became Wink again, and it served me well.
Being Win early on might have been a precursor for the game shows.
Yeah, there was an announcer at that time whose name was Win Elliott. I'll never forget, although he spelled it Winn. But I always think of him when I think of Win Martindale. I think of Win Elliott.
Oh, yeah. Here we've got another great photo here. Look at this one. Tell us about this.
Sandy?
Oh, okay. That was New Year's Eve at Eric Breslow's house a few years ago. And that's me, Winky, and Priscilla.
Priscilla Presley.
Priscilla Presley. That's a wonderful shot. And look at this. There's the Viva Las Vegas, huh?
Yeah, that's me with dark hair. Elvis and I are butt to butt.
That is
Margaret, of course. I have no idea what the name of the guy that I was dancing with. I have not a clue.
There's dude.
There's that collective. That's a great shot.
He's the dude. There he is, the daddy with his matching sweater on.
I love that.
He likes to sleep with his head upside down.
A Sunday morning at the Martindales in the desert.
That's it.
That's going to be the look for Wink's next show. I like that casual look. Here's a great shot, of course, the dapper.
And that was at the Hall of Fame, the Television Hall of Fame, where they did an interview for the archive.
Yes, I was watching some of those clips. I just love those. They do
that interview lasted about 3 hours.
Oh,
yes.
Old, I remember.
Yeah. That's another great shot.
This is an event Wink was hosting.
Very, very nice. Look at this shot.
That's us young. The CBS photographer took
that was a photo shoot for Gambit, my first network game show at CBS. And that's one of my favorite pictures of Sandy and me.
Yes, we have that one in a frame. Okay, and that's me and all of Elvis's lovelies. That's me, Priscilla, Linda Thompson, and on the other side, the first lady, she used to go with Joe Esposito. And then on the other side is Pat Perry, who was Elvis's hairdresser. And we were at a restaurant called Memphis that was in Hollywood. And it was Jerry Schilling's, I don't know, it's his book signing party, I think it was, he was one of Elvis's guys. So I said, Wink, photo op. It's all us girls together. And you know what? I love all the girls that Elvis chose to go with. We there's something about everybody that I find wonderful.
Yes, which is fantastic. Look at this shot here.
Oh, that's me and Bill Medley. He worked for my dad. When the Marcus Brothers had You Lost That Love and Feeling, they were at my dad's nightclub called the Red Velvet. And God, the people were lined up around the block.
By the way, for any of your viewers who might not be knowledgeable about Bill Medley, he was one half of the Righteous Brothers.
Yes.
And recorded You've Lost That Love and Feeling. And the reason I mention it is because that is the most played record ever on radio.
It is, huh? It
absolutely,
yeah, absolutely. Really, this is fantastic. Taking a look at all these great shots here from the collection. There is the touching of the hair that you talked about. That's John Stamos.
John Stamos has a thing about his hair. So he's always looking at hair. And he said to me, Sandy, can I touch Wink's hair? I said, sure, you can touch Wink's hair if I can take a picture of you touching Wink's hair. There's the photo.
And the proof in the pudding.
Yeah. And that's my best girlfriend, Brenda Lee. We traveled the world together. We went to Australia, Hawaii. She went to my high school when she had her first record, I'm Sorry. And one day her manager pulled up in front of the school with Lamar Fike, who was one of Elvis's guys. And whenever he wasn't with Elvis, he would road manage for Brenda. So they pull up in front of the school and he said, oh, that's Sandy Farrer with Brenda. She's really a nice girl. Elvis dates her. And so then her manager, Dub Albritton, then took a liking to me. And so when her mother didn't want to go on trips, he'd say, take Sandy, because I would make sure she put a sweater on. And, you know, because she was a country girl and I took care of her.
And Brenda, I might add, Brenda, who lives in Nashville and was Sandy's closest friend, was sort of the female version of Elvis during the 1960s. Elvis was huge, you know, over here, and Brenda Lee had all these hits over here, the biggest of which was one called I'm Sorry, which sold millions of records.
Yeah, we would when we were in Australia, Elvis was trying to reach me, and of course he couldn't reach me because I was gone for a month in Australia. And when I got home, he said, Sandy, where have you been? I was in Australia. Hello. It was quite an interesting trip.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh, we were good friends with Lou Rawls on that trip.
Lou Rawls.
He was appearing at one hotel and Brenda was appearing at another hotel. And he knew all the best restaurants. He'd take us to dinner every night. And we
picked up the check.
Yeah, he did. And we went to this one hotel and they said, and we have two celebrities in our audience. We have Brenda Lee and we have Lou Rawls. And when they introduced Brenda, Lou stood up. And when they introduced Lou, Brenda stood up. It was very funny. But maybe you had to be there to enjoy it.
Picked up the check, but did he pay it?
Yeah.
Very good, Jim.
I was going to say a little of that ad-libbing, right? Ad-libbing 101. Always wait for the line and sink your teeth in it. There's, of course, again, with Elvis. That's a great shot.
This is a picture of Elvis and me. I went over to MGM where he was filming GI Blues. And that was a picture that somebody took of the two of us. And it's one of my most treasured photos of EP.
And what's so interesting, so they were friends 10 years before I met either one of them. And during this time period, Elvis was dating me. And I didn't know Wink. I didn't meet him for years. It's a small world.
Isn't that amazing?
With a Tennessee boy.
And you see who won.
Yeah. That's a nice shot too.
Oh yeah. Where are we there? Oh, we're at something because I have this purse I actually sell at Graceland. Priscilla and I are partners. And she lets me sell, well, the first pair, Wink cut the birthday cake for the 60th anniversary of rock and roll at Graceland. And so I always wear Wink proudly like a neon sign. This is my Wink glasses, Wink with a heart. I had these custom made and I had a watch made. And when we were going to do that, I said to the girl, can I have a pair made with whatever I want them? She said, anything you want. And I said, I want Elvis on one side and Wink on the other. So I wore these to Graceland and all the Elvis fans said, oh, Mrs. Martindale, I want your glasses. Because for me, it's, my first love, my last love. And well, you can't have my glasses, but Priscilla always said, if you have a good idea, Sandy, just call me. So I called her, and she loved the idea. So we sell them at exclusively at Graceland. But that purse that was in the picture, they're expensive, and they're all Swarovski crystals. And so mine has Wink on one side, but if we're doing something promoting Elvis, I turn it over and I have Elvis on the other side.
I like that. That's
very
great.
economical purse.
I was going to say, great branding.
Yeah.
Ah.
That's when we did Tattletales, and we
Oh.
3 of the days.
With the wonderful and late and gone too soon,
Oh.
Bert Convey, huh?
We loved Bert Convey. He was so wonderful. We had so much fun. We actually did that several weeks, and then we also did it for charity. It was a wonderful, fun show to do. And as a matter of fact, the last time we were with Elvis, he had watched us on Tattletales that very day, that afternoon. He saw us, and when we went backstage, he said, "Oh my God, what a small world! I raised Sandy in California and knew you and Wink. Look how well you've done. Look at your career." And Wink's thinking, "What's wrong with this picture?" Oh,
He's telling me how well I've done.
Well, you've done, yes.
Yeah, and then he said to me that I was the nicest girl from the nicest family.
There it is. See, they did cut him out.
Oh, yeah. There's the trifecta of extraordinary broadcast talent there, huh? This is host du jour, the Three Musketeers.
Yes.
Wink Martindale, Alex Trebek, Pat Sajak, I tell you, huh?
Yeah, those were fun King World days when we were promoting shows.
Absolutely, yeah. That
Great
really
fun.
is a great shot, and I like this one too.
This is back in. You described this one, Winky.
What is this?
That's the one that your friend Jack Parnell.
Jack Parnell.
In Memphis, and he put that. You did something for him, and you're in the front, and that's you in the back.
Oh yeah, that's on Jack's wall.
Yeah.
In Memphis. By the way, let me point out something else. We kind of went over this, but when we saw Elvis in Las Vegas, he was doing 2 shows a night then, and we went back between shows, and he was standing behind the bar, and he just wanted to talk to Sandy and me, and the place was packed with people, but it was quiet as a mouse because everybody wanted to hear what we were talking about. And Elvis had seen us, as Sandy said, on Tattletales that day, and couldn't get over how much we knew about each other on a personal level, even though we'd been married quite a while by then. But the reason I bring it up again is because at that point in Elvis's career, he was not in good health. He was puffy. He was overweight, and it was really kind of sad. And when we left the dressing room that night and we got back to our hotel and closed the door behind us, both of us broke down and cried. We literally sobbed because it was the last time we ever saw him. And I said to Sandy, I said, we won't see him alive again. And within a year, he was gone.
Yeah, that was December 76, and he died August 77.
Yeah.
August 77, right. That's when the world stopped, right?
Yeah, it was raining in Beverly Hills that
day. The day the music died.
Yeah, it was like when Kennedy passed away, same sort of.
You know where you were.
You know exactly where you were the day it happened. Yeah,
exactly. There you go. There, another great one, huh?
That's ending up. Yeah, Viva Las Vegas.
That's Sandy right behind Elvis.
That's right.
When she had dark hair.
Yeah.
That's a great shot.
Let me tell you about this. This is at Sun Records, Sun Recording Service, where rock and roll actually had its beginning. And Sandy and I were back there several years ago, and we were going around to some of the locations, just, saying hello to people. And we went to Sun Records, and this is in the main studio, which is not a big studio at all. It's a small studio, but it's where Elvis recorded all of his Sun records. From That's All Right, Mama, right on through You're a Heartbreaker, all those. That's the microphone that he used. So if you want to, you can go in there and hold that microphone.
Wow.
The same microphone that Elvis used. And that's what we were doing there.
That's fantastic. That is cool. That's a great
Anybody
show.
who's never going to Memphis, be sure to go to Graceland And don't forget to go to Sun Records, Sun Recording Service on Union Avenue.
And
because
also
that's where it all started.
And Lance used to buy shirts like this lovely shirt my husband's wearing that's records on it.
Yeah, Lansky Brothers is where Elvis bought all of his clothes back in the day.
And where?
That is a fantastic shirt. I was trying to figure out what was on his shirt. That's amazing.
Where did Wayne Newton go? You put him up and then you let, and then
Las Vegas.
I also went with Wayne, and Wayne does a show, and every night in his show, he tells the story of how he met Elvis, and he was somewhere either on a set or on an airplane, and somebody tapped him on the shoulder, and he looks up, and it's Elvis, and he says, "Oh, Mr. Presley, I'm such a huge fan of yours." And Elvis said, "Yeah, kid, I'm a fan of yours too, but I have a question for you. Do you know a girl named Sandy Farrah?" And Wayne said, "Yeah, as a matter of fact, we're dating." And Elvis said, "Yeah, well, we're dating too."
Wow.
So, yeah. So I was dating both of them at the same time.
But tell him what he finally said.
What? What do you mean? What he finally said?
You got rid of both of them.
Oh, yeah.
How can you leave that out?
Part of when we're at the show. Wayne says
he tells the story every night. Every night.
Sorry. Wayne says, but Sandy was smarter. She married somebody better than both of us. She married Wink Martindale, and then he introduces Wink, and Wink stands up and he hugs him, and it's very sweet.
So you can see why I wanted her to finish the story.
Yes. That was a very important ending. That was a very important part of that story.
I think that the most important part of the story.
There was another show that you did, which Maury Amsterdam, of course, was.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Tell us about this. What a terrific idea, huh?
Yeah. Can You Top This had been on radio for years and was a big hit on radio. Maury Amsterdam, the late Maury, bought the rights to it for television. And I was lucky enough to be selected as the host of the show. There was a panel of top flight comedians, and I was the host. And people in the audience would send in jokes, and each one of the comedians would stand up and tell a joke in that same category. And the guy who told the home viewer joke was Richard Dawson, and that was the first real exposure that Richard Dawson had, was on Can You Top This. It only lasted a year, but it was a real good experience for me because I got to meet so many great comics, and it was just a fun show to do. I mean, full of laughs.
Yes, absolutely. I know another one that you really enjoyed doing. It didn't last as long as maybe you had hoped, but it was Debt, and that was a great one.
Fun.
Yeah, Debt was. I was just talking to Michael Davies, who was the producer of that show. I got called in to his office. They were planning this show, this pilot, where we paid off young people's debts up to $10,000. And he said, "We'd like for you to be the host." And so I got the job as host. And it was that period of time when John Travolta was so popular. So that's the reason for the pose.
That's a cool.
And I wore a tux every day. And it was a terrific show. The first season was just great, and the ratings were through the roof. But in the off season, after that first season, we had to get the debt sign was what looked like a Visa card.
Yes,
we had to change the colors, because we got sued because of using the Visa colors.
Yeah,
and so. For whatever reason, the show never really got its legs again after that first year. But boy, was it fun to do. It was a little bit like, I'll tell you, we also got sued by Jeopardy.
By Jeopardy.
They felt that the Q&A situation was too much like Jeopardy.
That's something, huh?
That was sad. That was sad, but
it was a fun show to do.
And right next to us was when Ben Stein's Money was working, and Jimmy Kimmel was the announcer.
Jimmy Kimmel was the announcer, and of course, whatever happened to Jimmy Kimmel?
I don't know.
He does something late at night
Oh,
on the Alphabet Network. You've also been in a lot of different commercials over the years as well, and we dug this one up. This is Orbits.
Folks, I've been informed we'll be in a holding pattern for the next hour.
It's time to play
Take on Orbits. Today's players need to alert each of their clients they'll be late for a meeting from midair.
Oh.
Ready? Go.
Done.
Orbits notifies anyone you're running late automatically.
Introducing Orbits TLC. You get treated like a VIP only when you book on Orbits and go.
Oh, I forgot that.
Yeah.
When time goes by and you see something like that, you know, I was glued to the set while you were playing.
And I love the fact that you still call it a set. That alone, I love that. We dug this up too. This is from your collection. This is Tic-Tac-Dough MC question.
Well, I'm going to try the center, animal songs.
Animal songs for $300 to the pot. According to the lyrics of this 1967 hit song by a famous singing duo, orangutans are skeptical.
Orangutans, Wink.
Oh. Did I say orange? I didn't. No, I didn't. I did not say that. I'm going to start all over. I usually read these over before we start the show. According to the lyrics of this 1967 hit song by a famous singing duo, orangutans are skeptical, giraffes are insincere, and elephants are kindly, but they're dumb. First, name the song, and then name the duo who sang it. Dorothy, name the song.
I don't believe I know the song.
It's At the Zoo.
Yes.
And the duo who sang it, Simon and Garfunkel. And if you feel bad now, Dorothy, you don't feel as dumb as I do, I can guarantee you. Let's move the categories around while I pick myself up.
If you like this, make sure to subscribe to my channel for more. And check out my Facebook page for other exciting content. You can play free games and win real prizes.
Figure we give you a nice little plug there, right? We broadcasters got to stick together.
I tell you what, that fluff was the most embarrassing thing I've ever done, and I'm so sorry that you found that one.
But that's cool. It shows that your roll with the punches. You know, when you look at all of this, I mean, you have a fabulous, wonderful, loving relationship. You've been together a long time. You play off each other so beautifully. And our viewers who've been commenting live throughout our Jim Master Show, love of the audience, have been commenting. They love the two of you together. They've been saying you're adorable. They love all these stories. It's such a fun show tonight. You have this beautiful relationship. You sort of yin and yang each other so beautifully. When you look at your body of work, Wink, which is extraordinary. We're talking 6 decades, and you're still doing all kinds of different things, and you're still very connected with the audience. One thing that I loved what you said when we were chatting off air, and I was talking about how, you know, our industry has changed a great deal, and there's a lot of reality and raw and sort of like lose the polish a little bit. And one thing that you said, which is very important, I think, for anybody going into any industry, any line of work, any craft or endeavor, which is very empowering and inspiring, and especially if you're going into these unpredictable, crazy, nutty, but fabulous industries, is be who you are. Stay who you are. Stay true to yourself. Wink Martindale has done that and continues to do that. A lot of people reinvent and change and throw, you know, the playbook out, but you've always stayed true to form, which I think is very empowering and inspiring and a beautiful message for people, Wink.
You know, you can imagine how many interviews, we both have done, but especially me over the years, having been in this business longer than I care to remember. But, you know, when you got in touch with us about doing this, I get as big a kick out of doing this interview with you as the first one I did years and years ago. I feel very blessed to have, as I said earlier, be working in a business that I always wanted to be a part of, first radio and then television. So I feel very blessed. And I'm still doing, I might, if I may mention, here in the desert, in Palm Desert, I have a studio upstairs, and I do a worldwide syndicated 2-hour weekly show called History of Rock and Roll.
And I think when Sandy and I were talking, I think you were doing something with Jerry Vale at the time.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm working on a show now for Jerry Vale, but that's for my local show. I'm on the air locally Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 1 to 3 on one of the most prestigious and long-running radio stations in the Coachella Valley, Palm Springs. So
KWXY.
KWXY.
1340 AM and 92.3 FM.
Very good, Sandy.
Thank
You have rehearsed that with her beautifully, Wink. And now she's doing the color.
We worked on that for a long time.
Yes.
Did not. We didn't work on it at all. But what's wonderful is he's back to his roots with radio, and I am hearing, instead of him just sitting there watching ball games, I am hearing all this beautiful music from, all the best singers ever.
Yeah.
It is just
And the orchestras, the Percy Faith Orchestra. Yeah,
I just finished my Percy Faith special yesterday. And fortunately, when I was at KMPC working for Gene Autry in the 1970s, I did audio biographies from noon to 3 every day, where I would have a star come in, a Streisand or a Neil Diamond or whatever, and I would build a show around them, audio biography. I kept all those interviews. They are digitized, and they sound like they were done yesterday. And so I build my radio show from 1 to 3 here in the desert around those, because they've never been heard here. A lot of those people are gone.
Yes.
So I let them know
Campbell, Andy Williams, Elvis Morris, Frank Sinatra. I mean, it just goes.
And I say, when they were when the interview was done, so I don't try to fool anybody. But it's really, I've never enjoyed anything more. I came here really to sort of be at least semi-retired. And the first thing happens when we get here is I get approached by this guy who has all this money and bought 2 radio stations.
His name is Louis Camella, and he wanted to take us to dinner. And then he said, Wink, I wanted to meet you, but I want you on the air. And Wink said, no, I don't do, I'm retired. And he said, and I don't want to go to a radio station.
But he made me an offer I couldn't refuse.
Yeah, Louis said, well, you can do it from home. Well, that sounded good. And then Wink said, program directors, and they tell you what to do. And no, you're your own. You can do it.
He said, you do whatever you want to do in that 2 hours. Everything. I don't have a playlist to follow. I don't have a program director telling me what to do or what not to do. It's great. I just love it. I'm having so much fun.
You're having the time of your life. And I think, Wink, like I said, as Lou Grant said to Mary Tyler Moore, you got spunk. You both do. You just have this thirst, this passion for the industry, but for life. It's just so, it's as a host myself, it's very infectious. It's fantastic. It really is.
Old folks, we're doing pretty good.
Seasoned veterans. That's what I tell people. Use seasoned veterans.
Yeah, I just celebrated my 21st birthday, December 5th.
I was going to say, and you did it in cement.
I did.
Yeah.
How do you like that for a segue?
That's great. A good one.
That's my star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Now, what an honor, huh? Tell us about what that feeling was like.
Well, I was on the treadmill one day, and I get this phone call from Johnny Grant, who at that time was honorary mayor of Hollywood. He's no longer with us. But he said, Wink, you've been unanimously chosen to receive a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Nothing could have been further from my mind. But that's the day, and we had the biggest party we've ever thrown was across the street at the Renaissance Hotel after this was all over. And I guess it everybody we knew was at
We
that,
invited everybody.
at that party.
Yeah.
All over
And
the
I'm
place,
between, my star is between.
Suzanne Summers and Tom Hanks. And
Thank you
we're
very
good
much.
friends with Suzanne, who lives down here in the desert as well. She
Yeah.
and her husband, Alan.
So I'm in good company.
You are in good company, being watched over. Absolutely. You're being watched over by Mr. Rogers too, because Tom Hanks played Mr. Rogers.
Another honor that I received that I'm very, very proud of, because it goes back to my radio roots. 3 years ago, I was one of the initial inductees into the Tennessee Radio Hall of Fame. And having lived in, worked in radio in Tennessee all those years, it was quite an honor. And so I just wanted to mention that.
Because you know what? It comes full circle, doesn't it? It comes full circle.
If you're lucky enough and you live long enough.
Yes, right. And you don't run out of the Alka-Seltzer supply or any of that. Well, the Bear aspirin. When you look back at it all, I was saying a little bit earlier, so many fabulous moments, so many incredible moments. Are there a few that, in particular, of course, the Walk of Fame is wonderful. The honor you just mentioned in Tennessee. Are there others that really stick out for you, Wink, that they just touch you right here over the years?
Oh, geez.
Well, I'll tell
Good
you.
question.
I'd have to go back to Memphis. The one that stands out in my mind, I had dropped out of college in Jackson, Tennessee. After high school, I went to Lambeth College for 2 quarters, and I was doing radio. And I said to myself, Self, you don't need this. You're going to be a star. Why do you have to go to college? So I dropped out. When I went to Memphis, I went to work at WHBQ radio. My general manager, John Cleggard, talked me into going back to college at the University of Memphis. So I did, and that was one of the smartest things I think I ever did. Not that I'm any smarter. I don't know whether I learned a heck of a lot or not, because I was working like 25 hours a day, and I was married at the time with 2 kids. But in 1957, I graduated with a BS degree. I majored in speech and drama and minored in journalism and English. And that's an event that stands out in my mind as much as getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, or you name it.
Absolutely. Some would say that we have a BS degree, you and I, because we're great ad-libbers too.
It's a different kind of BS.
See, we call it ad-libbing. No dead air is what we say. What are some things that you both still want to do? I mean, you've done so much, you've inspired so many, you've entertained so many people, you love it. What are some things that are still in the offing for you guys? And what are some of those blessings and joys that continue to propel you forward?
Well, I think he's still waiting. We're waiting to get the call from Memphis, because he is supposed to get a music note on Beale Street, which he hasn't received yet. So we're looking forward to that call when that happens. As far as what else, I think we've gone everywhere we've ever wanted to go.
We don't want to travel
anymore. We've been to Israel. We've been all through Europe. We've done so much traveling that, I mean, maybe there's 1 or 2 more Hawaiis in us in Maui, because we
love Maui.
We used to have a place in Maui, and we loved Maui until Wink had to live in Malibu. And then we had this huge house in Malibu. And then we thought, well, we don't need the Maui place anymore, which is really good, because you can go to a hotel and get 24-hour room service and save money if you don't own a place there that you have to keep up and fix every time you get there. It became like a job. So we might have a couple more trips to Maui. And other than that, we are just so contented where we are that.
Yeah.
Can you think of anything?
I can't think of a thing. Just
We're so happy.
maybe a trip to Maui just for fun of it. But this is our Maui now, because the weather's the same as Hawaii, if not better here.
It is.
And we don't really have a reason to venture out anywhere. Like Sandy said, we've we've seen, we don't want to travel overseas anymore. There are a lot of places we haven't visited, but there are a lot of places we have visited.
And when he was doing like Tic Tac and the game shows, and we'd go on these one-nighters across country promoting the shows. I mean, we're in Cleveland, then we're in, we're here, and then we're in Chicago, and then we're in Florida. I mean, we would do those where you'd be gone a couple of weeks and you're in a different city every day, up early in the morning doing the television shows and this and that. So we've done so much of that I think we're contented that we've cruised to Europe. We used to do a lot of cruising. Our honeymoon was a 2-week cruise to the Caribbean. That was fun. And we cruised to Hawaii. And
we stopped cruising because we ate too much on the ship.
We would have to go on a diet like a month before the cruise and lose 10 pounds so that on the cruise we could eat our way back up and not feel guilty about it, because it's so tempting to overeat on a cruise.
Well, you constantly are eating and you don't get much exercise, so.
Yeah.
You don't have a 30-year supply of rice-a-roni in your basement, do you?
There's one thing that I didn't mention that it just came to me about thrills in my life, in my career. And one of those that I failed to mention was when I sold my first television game show called Headline Chasers to Merv Griffin. Merv had never bought a show outside his own company. And this was a show that was based around headlines in the newspaper. You had to fill in the headlines, a little like Wheel of Fortune idea, but not Wheel of Fortune. And it only lasted a year. It was really, in fact, I guess it was too difficult, kind of like Jeopardy. I remember going to Miami, Florida to try to get the ratings up in Miami.
His name was Jim Daphne. I don't know how that came.
Jim Daphne. And I'm sitting across the desk from Jim Daphne, and what can we do to get the ratings up? What can we do to save the show? And he said something I'll never forget. He said, "Well, can you dumb it down a little bit?" I thought, oh my God, what a thing to say. Can you imagine him telling the Jeopardy producers, can you dumb it down a little bit?
Right. Yes.
I don't know whether you play Jeopardy or not, but
sure.
I feel so stupid.
You got one, though. You got one last night.
I got one last night. I got the bonus question last night. I felt so proud of myself.
He did.
I even slept better last night because I won the
Well, there was somebody that was here tonight that just wanted to say hello. He usually pops in a little bit. Mr. George Burns is with us this evening.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
That's great. My aunt collected dolls. My mother is the youngest of 16, believe it or not. And my aunt Lillian collected dolls. And this came out when George was 100. And it was a collector's edition. And as a doll collector, my aunt was. She got George. And it's been passed down to me. So I usually pop him on towards the end. And he said, you guys absolutely knocked it out of the park on the Jim Masters Show live. He loved every second of it. And he went through about 4 cigars during the conversation. Very dapper fellow.
That's how we could find him. Danny Thomas used to have a lot of parties for the St. Jude Hospital up at his house.
Yes.
You could always find George. There'd be smoke signals and a cigar. You'd see little circles going up, and you'd know that's where George was sitting at the party.
What a nice man. What a nice man.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Have you ever thought of teaching?
Teaching what?
What sort of teaching the business, teaching, inspiring people? I mean, you guys inspire people already, but, some of the tricks of the trade a little bit of for people that want to enter into these industries now, even though it's changed so much.
Yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same as the information we'd give wouldn't really apply today because it's all different people. The whole thing's different today. And there's a different criteria of what they're looking for. I don't know.
When I'm asked, for example, what would you tell an aspiring game show host, someone who wants to get into the world of game shows, whether it be host or producer? I have a stock answer, which really and truly is not all that good, but it's all I can ever come up with. And that is get the best education you can get. If it's possible for you to go to college and finish, so much the better. If not, that's not absolutely necessary. But the main thing is to love what you're doing. If you don't have a love for people, then don't be in the game show world, especially as a host, because I always felt like that 30 or 40 seconds that I had to converse back and forth with the contestants when they walk out for the first time was some of the most fun part of the show. And you try to elicit from those people something that's interesting and then move on,
Yes.
But again, I think you got to like to be in the game show world. You got to like people, and you got to like what they stand for.
Yes.
And I think because he came across and people saw how genuine he was and felt it, that today the most fun we have is like we'll be at a restaurant and you'll see people looking at him, and then one will build up the courage and come over and say, I just want to tell you, I grew up watching you and you were just the best part of my life. And they say such wonderful things. And then another one will come, and then he'll come with the camera, and then they want to pay. I mean, that they really participated in these people's lives.
Absolutely.
In a nice, happy, healthy, clean, wholesome way.
I remember being on an airplane once, flying over the country. I guess I was on a promotion trip, and I guess you were with me, Sandy.
Probably.
But I remember looking out the window and thinking, all of those homes down there, all of those people have the opportunity to at least watch me every night. This was during Tic-Tac-Dough. And I thought, what a great experience to know that your show is at least available to be watched by almost every home in the United States of America. And that always just blew me away. And I remember looking out the window thinking that. Never forgot that.
Oh, no, absolutely. That's a beautiful thing to think about, because so many people, turn to these shows for a way to get away from the chaos and reality of life. Maybe they had bills to pay. Maybe they had a flat tire that day. Maybe there's an illness in the family, and they would spend time with Wink Martindale and others as an escape. And they'd feel good about themselves if they could answer the questions, or, root for the contestants, or even be lucky enough to be a contestant on some of these shows. It was a way to lift people up and take them away from their day-to-day troubles, like sitcoms do, like music does, which is very healing. And that's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
I consider it, as Sandy alluded to, I consider it a real honor to have somebody walk over to me. It just happened a couple of nights ago at the Nest restaurant.
Yeah.
And tell me how much they enjoyed the show, and they grew up watching it. And I mean, how often does a person, ordinary person, get to hear that kind of thing?
No, you touched an awful lot of lives.
Yeah. Quick story.
Yes.
Johnny Carson, The Tonight Show, used to use my name a lot when they wanted to do a shtick about game shows. They wouldn't call me Wink Martindale. They would call me Wink Farthingdale or whatever.
It's a silly name.
But it was a silly name, and we all knew who they were alluding to, talking about. So one night, Sandy and I are in a restaurant in Beverly Hills having dinner. And over in the corner, it was around 6:30 in the evening. I think it probably was right after they had finished taping The Tonight Show. And Johnny Carson was on his way home to Malibu, where he lived. And he was all by himself, sitting in the corner having dinner. Sandy said, "You've absolutely got to go over there and say hello to him."
Sing out, baby Jim.
And I said, "I'm not going to bother him. I am absolutely not, Sandy. Don't give me a hard time about this."
I do give him a hard
because I don't want to bother people. And I don't want to go over there and say something while he's having his dinner. But sure enough, when he got up to leave and he was almost to the front door, she talked me into it. And I went up and I tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Mr. Carson." And he looked over his shoulder. He said, "Wink, nice to see you." He couldn't have been nicer. And I said, I just want to thank you for all the publicity you've given me all these years on the Tonight Show. And he said, well, I want to thank you because for understanding that we weren't making fun of you. We were just using your name to complete a sketch. And I said, no, I felt very honored that you could have used Alex Trebek or whoever, but you used me.
Isn't that fantastic? I would imagine probably Saturday Night Live must have done something over the years too. No, I would imagine.
I don't know. I've never heard of anything being done on Saturday Night Live.
They've done a lot of the game show things. You know that don't bother them. I would think so, right?
Yeah.
Can't you find that, Jim?
I'm sure we can. Let's dig that up quick. In the wink of an eye or a blink of an eye. They don't bother the person at the dinner table reminds me of that story that you probably know and heard 1,000 times, but maybe the viewers haven't, where Don Rickles was at the table with a woman he was trying to impress, and Frank Sinatra was over at the other table, and Don had asked Frank if he could, on his way out, stop by Don's table and just say hello and acknowledge that he's there, because he wanted to impress the woman, Don, with the woman at that time he was with. So he said, please, I'd love if you could do that, Frank. Please do this. So Frank said, all right. So Frank went back to the table, was eating his pasta. And then when he was getting up and getting ready to leave, he did stop over to Don's table with the woman he was trying to impress. And he said, Don, hi, how are you? And Don says to Frank, what are you doing? Can't you see I'm eating here? Don't bother me.
Yeah. We did hear that.
It's a great story, classic story.
That's a classic story, I tell you. Well, you are both sensational people, and this is truly, as I said, off air, and I'll gladly say on air, a tremendous honor and a pleasure to converse with you in this comfortable, easy, old school way, like we're doing with the viewers commenting. They're sort of like our virtual studio audience. They've been loving this. Amy says this is one of her favorite shows that we have done of the Jim Master Show Live, having the two of you on, which I absolutely love. I just want to show you.
A woman with good taste, obviously.
Yes, absolutely. Terry Ann says, going to watch this in the rewatch, which is fantastic. Jen is watching in Pennsylvania. A fun show tonight. Merlin's watching in Ontario, Canada. Wink and Sandy, what wonderful time with you two guys. I feel like you were in my living room. Thanks, Jim. My pleasure. More coming in here from Mona Greer in Louisiana, New Orleans. Thank you, Wink and Sandra. Fun show tonight. Very entertaining. Thank you so much for your time. Come back and see us. Terry Ann says, I grew up near Memphis, Tennessee. Been to Graceland. Remember watching Wink's game shows. That's really kind to say as well. More coming in. Sherry Larson in Kansas, USA. Thank you, Wink and Sandy, for being here with us tonight. Love your stories, humor, and your voice, Wink.
That's the first thing I fell in love with was
the wonderful dulcet tones. Absolutely. Kathleen Walker.
It's an amazing thing, as I've gotten older, usually your voice changes.
Yes.
I can take a piece of tape from the 1970s from my KMPC days in LA and splice it next to a piece of tape today that I record upstairs right now and defy you to tell the difference. So I feel blessed from that standpoint too.
Oh, that's fantastic. Absolutely. God's on your side. Kathleen Walker in New York City says, thank you, Wink and Sandy, for sharing your life with us. What a treat. Welcome to our lovely family. I love that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Really beautiful. Mona says, beautiful and fun couple. Very entertaining as well. What a lovely couple, enjoying this. Really, really nice comments coming in.
Can I tell Mona something?
Yeah.
Mona, you have the name of the first girlfriend in junior high and high school. Her name was Mona Diane Murray. And it was my very first love. puppy love. But she didn't give me the time of day. But it didn't deter me. I never stopped trying.
Oh, boy.
Anyway, hi, Mona.
Love you, Wink and Sandy from Cullen Fields. Loving it. Smiles coming in from Jane watching in Sweden and literally all around the world. So many great comments coming in from everybody. And we really appreciate all of this. Kurt Stacy says, hello from Tennessee. Sandy and Wink and everyone. Great show tonight. Thank you very much. Love coming in from good old Tennessee, huh? That is fantastic. Thanks, guys. Christine Clifton here in North Carolina. Thanks for such an entertaining conversation tonight. Fabulous stories and wonderful photos and video clips. Lovely couple, Wink and Sandra. Fun double lovities. Thanks for sharing your great memories. Thank you, Christine. I'm so excited to see Wink and Sandy bring back so many memories. Wink, you're the greatest.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
I agree with that.
Ellen Fields says, I hope Jim has another show with them. We will keep the porch light on for them. They are now lovities. They're exquisite people. And truly, I hope if I'm on a TV shoot out in the LA area that we get a chance to meet and break bread. I would love that. It'd be a real honor and pleasure, Wink and Sandy.
Well,
You really...
It's just an hour and a half you'd have to drive if there's no traffic, because we don't get on the freeway and go to LA anymore.
Well, now, when you pick up the check, do you also pay it?
I was going to say, that came back to bite me, didn't it?
I got to remember that line.
You'll never find. True lovities, Amy says. And
Thank
Mona
you,
says, oh, that is sweet. Hi there. Nice to meet you both from the other Mona. This was terrific, my friends. And truly, thank you for all that you've done and continue to do to inspire us all, entertain us all, both of you together. And we'll definitely keep the porch light on for you. And I hope the show met whatever expectations you had and you enjoyed the time with me as much as I thoroughly did.
It
with
went
the both of
beyond
you.
our expectations.
Let me just say this. I've done a lot of interviews over the years, and in the past year, I don't know how many I've done, but I want you to know this, that I've never done an interview that has been more researched and thought out with clips that even I didn't know existed. And so I want to congratulate you and thank you for that, because, you know, it was really special. And we won't forget the Jim Masters show. And when you want us back, let us, as long as it's not tomorrow.
Yeah, we got to schedule tomorrow.
We got to think up more stories.
We have a million stories.
Oh boy. And I appreciate your being so open, authentic, and honest and sharing them, because that's what makes you guys so relatable to people, you know, and that's part of the longevity. And it's a absolutely beautiful, beautiful thing. And you guys are the best. Thanks so much for, we said we'd do what, 45 minutes. We've done an hour and a half.
Whoops.
That's fantastic. No, I let it roll.
When did you get the bill? Wait till you get the bill for the overtime.
Is there a
for overtime?
Oh,
don't we?
okay, yeah.
Well, I hope Dude isn't union, is he?
No, dude just said to me, because he usually eats at 5 o'clock, so he is giving me his.
He's chomping at the bit.
That it's time to do a little strolling.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Wink and Sandy. You truly are the best, and we'll keep that light on for you. I wish you nothing but continued blessings and joy in your life, and may God and good health and humor and everything else continue to be on your side. And I hope we do get a chance to chat some more. I would thoroughly love that.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, Jim. Lovely talking to you.
You are very welcome. You take care now, okay?
All righty.
Bye.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
The incredible Wink and Sandy Martindale. And they say bye to everybody. Thanks so much to them. And thanks so much to all of you. This was fantastic, wasn't it? I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. If you'd like to see it again, you can see it right here on our YouTube channel, which is Jim Masters TV. We said, sometimes when we talk to the guests, we sort of ballpark how long we'll talk. We're live. I don't put a clock on it. We don't even say these are interviews. We say these are conversations. And we said, maybe about 45 minutes or so. We went an hour and a half as if it was nothing, as if we were across from each other in a living room having cheesecake and coffee next to a fire. And that's the style. That's the way I like to do it in my professional work and the work we do here on the Jim Masters Show Live. Thanks for all the glorious comments, gang. You guys were really on fire tonight. If this was your first time watching the Jim Masters Show Live, entertainment lifestyle talk show series, thanks so much for joining us. There are over 630 episodes and counting that we have done of our entertainment lifestyle talk show series, bringing back that lost art of conversation. You can peruse them all on our YouTube channel. And if you enjoyed this episode, definitely leave a comment for us on our YouTube channel and give this episode a thumbs up. We would love that. And if you haven't had a chance to subscribe to the YouTube channel, be sure and do that. That's the channel you're watching right now. It's that red button. There's no cost for that. And make sure when you click that red button, you click the notification bell so you don't miss any of our epic episodes. Guests that come in from Broadway, Hollywood, television, film, music, sports, comedy, culinary arts, inspiration, and everything in between. We thoroughly thank Wink and Sandy Martindale for joining us live and direct from their beautiful home in Palm Desert, California. Two class acts. And again, we were talking about, if you missed any of this, we showed some fantastic photos going back in time, of course, with Wink's illustrious career. Of course, everybody remembers Tic-Tac-Dough, of course. You can see a lot of these re-airs on places like Buzzer and Game Show Network, and also, YouTube videos now all over the place. Some absolutely fantastic shots, great stories. And of course, even Dude made an appearance as well. And again, they truly are fantastic people, And for me, as a television host, radio host, presenter, journalist, actor, writer, stage MC, voiceover artist, all these things that we talk about, it was an honor, really, to have Wink on the show, and his lovely wife, Sandy, joining us as well, sprinkling in some wonderful stories of her own. Right, gang? Thanks for all these great comments, too. Feel free to comment on the YouTube channel. Sherry Larson says, what a wonderful show. Thank you, Jim. Now go relax. I know it was a busy day today. 2 on-location shoots. We were at the Basketball Hall of Fame for a lifestyle travel TV show I do on CBS. And then also we were at an Asian restaurant, Japanese restaurant. Tomorrow we have TV shoots, and then we're back tomorrow night. Actually, we are very excited because we have the director of the Count Basie Orchestra, acclaimed jazz trumpeter Scotty Barnhart, is going to be with us tomorrow, live, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. He's going to play live as well. And he is also, as I mentioned, the director of the Count Basie Orchestra. We're really looking forward to that. On Saturday, Judy Tenuta, comedy legend Judy Tenuta, is going to be with us live at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. She has some new videos and a wonderful news story about how she is kicking stage 4 cancer, and very inspiring stories with her wit and comedy as well. So join us for that. And of course, next week is a full week of incredible shows. We do these live, and this really was fantastic. The Basketball Museum looked amazing. Absolutely was. Kathleen in New York, and Mona, thanks for tonight. Great show. Hugs and love to all. To you as well, Mona. Thank you for joining us here on the show. It was a real pleasure. Christine Clifton in North Carolina, thanks for an enjoyable episode with Wink and Sandra. We all loved it. See you all soon. Good night, Jim, and lovely hugs to you as well. Christine in North Carolina. Kurt in Tennessee, thank you for another wonderful show, Jim. Kurt Stacy, thank you very much, my friend. Appreciate it. Spread the word to everybody in Tennessee and beyond about the Jim Masters Show Live. We would love that. And Amy, thanks for being here as well. God bless, lovely family, to you as well. Kathleen in New York City, have a great night. Good night, all, and hugs to you as well. Kathleen in New York City. Love all of this. Sherry Larson, what a wonderful show. Thank you, Jim. Now go relax. Merlin in Ontario, Canada. Wow, what a fun show. Thumbs up, hearts, and claps. Thank you very much. Yes, we could have done it 2 more hours. Absolutely. The fantastic stories, and the three of us just rolled. And that was the first time we met. That was the first time Wink, Sandy, and myself met. Won't be the last, I'm sure. Friends now for life, and I love that. It's the residual sometimes of doing the kind of work I love and they love. We could have done 2 more hours, but dude was making some circles and needed some attention. You always got to think of the pet. What a great show. Thank you, Jim. Kathleen, thank you very much. Sherry Larson, thank you for those kind words. Amy, thank you as well. And everybody that's commenting, everybody that's not commenting, but you are just watching us, we appreciate all of you. So again, we will be back tomorrow night from the Count Basie Orchestra. The director and acclaimed jazz trumpeter, Scotty Barnhart, is going to be with us. Thanks, gang. This was a terrific episode of the Jim Masters Show Live. We appreciate all of you. We wish you nothing but the very best. Everybody is welcome to join us here at our show. It's a beautiful time when you guys are here. Thanks, gang. We love you all. And thanks for watching this very special episode. They're all special, but this was a hoot with Wink Martindale and Sandy Martindale. Again, really cool stuff here on the Jim Masters Show Live. We'll see you on the next one. I'll be right here waiting for you in the host chair. I hope you'll be with us. Be well, be good to one another. And again, we love you all. Jim Masters here, thanking you for your time this time till next time, right here on the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show Series. We'll see you and you and you and you and you again soon. Take care and cheers.